How do you get into Google? What does it feel like working for a corporation like that? What does a day in the life of a software developer look like in a company like Google? In this episode of BITScast, I have Sai Avinash, the person who got the biggest package from BITS Goa, and he's currently working in Google in Dublin, that is in Europe. And in this episode of BITScast, we'll be talking exactly how he got his off-campus placement in Google, how he got his internship at Uber India, and exactly how he learned competitive coding, what does his day look like in Google, and a lot more in this episode of BITScast. Make sure that you watch it till the end, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, like this video and share it with your friends, and now let's get into the video. Hello Avinash, thank you so much for joining me here for this podcast episode. Really grateful to talk to you. For the first time, I saw you on the placement statistics data that we got in the first semester in BITS Goa, and over there we were just searching for some, a foreign offer that some guy got, and you were the only one who got offer from Google Dublin. So I'm actually really excited to know, how did you get that off-campus offer from Google Dublin?
Oh yeah, so as a student during my college days, I mostly used to take part in programming contests for fun.
Yeah.
So I used to take part in them a lot. Like there used to be a contest almost every alternate day, and for the first 10 days of a month, there used to be this Code Chef Long Challenge. You'd be familiar with this if you
Cook-offs and all.
Cook-offs, Code Chef. Yeah, I used to take part in every contest I could. So.
Okay.
And
so you started in your first year itself?
I don't know how you define starting. So in my second semester of college, I started learning my first programming language, C++.
Okay.
And I don't know if that qualifies as starting. I started solving problems after a month after I started learning the programming language. So somewhere around February 2016. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that was probably my first Coach of Long challenge.
Yeah. And how has your journey been like in competitive coding?
So it has been like it's been really thrilling in the sense that there are lots of ups and downs, and when things are not going well, you think that
you should just stop working and just throw it.
No, I never felt like that, and I never felt like that. But it is a really nice experience, I would say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Once you get the problem solved, it feels really good.
No, I think the best part of solving a problem is while solving the problem.
Yeah.
Not the result. So.
That aha moment that you get.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So when you solve a problem, there are like multiple aha moments depending on how hard the problem is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So each aha moment is nice. And in college, during college, doing competitive programming was beneficial in multiple ways. For example, when you go to a class, you find it boring. That's probably you probably find a lot of classes boring in college if you don't pay if you're not interested. So
I stopped attending the classes itself. It's like, leave it, light.
Yeah. So I used to. I didn't find a lot of courses interesting. So you could go to the class and you could think of the problem instead if you find the class boring. If you find the class interesting, then you can listen to the class.
Okay.
So
yeah.
So that way,
what sort of student were you in your college years? Were you like the goat kind, or were you like chill sort of a person?
I mean, everyone would like to tell that they were a chill sort of a person, but I don't know. So my studies was one of my lowest priorities. Competitive programming was my priority, like the top priority, and nothing else. So even if there were several occurrences when there was an exam the next day, and there was a 3-hour contest in the night the previous day, and I took part in the contest. So it's more about. I kind of prioritized competitive programming more because because
And did you
I
manage
just need
to
to get
get the
more.
rating between 4 to 5? That is considered to be great.
What's 4 to 5?
Like you get rating, right, when you solve these questions in code chef and code forces.
Oh, I'm not sure what you mean by rating.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah.
okay, if you mean, I don't think you get any rating, but if you solve contests, then if you perform well in a contest, you get a higher rating.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
what you mean. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
so yeah, that gradually improved. If you look at my graph, you can see it going slowly up and up.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of stagnated now because of my job,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to make time for it.
So you still try to go for competitive coding questions whenever there's
Yeah,
some event.
yeah. I mean, there was no reason to stop it, so
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
it's just like any other sport. It's a mind sport, so
Yeah, you have to keep training.
yeah, you have to keep training, it. And I'll do it while it's fun. I'll stop doing
Mm-hmm.
it when it gets boring. It doesn't get
Yeah.
interesting, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And did you try to go for some internships in first year summer vacations and second year summer vacations? Like, so second year summer vacations was PS1, right? What was your
Second
PS1
year,
experience like?
uh, okay. That's when that is when I had a big jump in my performance,
Okay.
competitive programming performance, because I did a lot of competitive programming during the internship,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, my internship wasn't as interesting to me,
Mm.
so I spent a lot of time doing competitive programming again.
Yeah.
Uh, but I mean, I'm sure if you, I think you should focus more on the internship than anything else when you're doing the internship,
Mm.
because yeah, that's going to help you progress more in your career then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other internship I did was in my third year, and which
Yeah.
was again,
PS2.
no, apart from PS2, during the
Okay.
third year
Yeah.
summer, I went to Uber Bangalore here,
Yeah.
cannot here in
What was
Bangalore.
that
So,
experience like working for Uber as an intern?
oh yeah, so that was my first, like, my PS1 was not a corporate experience per se because there were only 10 people in the company,
Okay.
out of which around 10 people, including the interns.
Okay. Yeah.
So, so Uber was more, I was exposed to fancy tools, fancy tools to develop. I I had no development experience before. I barely had an account on GitHub. Like
Mm-hmm.
uh, apart from internships, I don't have any other development experience as such. So that was
Okay.
my first development experience,
Yeah.
and it was really nice. Like the people in Uber were really friendly, my mentors, and
Mm.
yeah, you're exposed to the latest tools, one of the latest tools.
Okay. Yeah. And would you
Yeah.
advise us to maintain a proper good GitHub profile and try to get as many projects done uh, so that it looks good on your CV?
See, uh, regarding projects, I would recommend having some, but
Okay.
don't spend too much time on them. I mean,
Okay. Yeah.
speaking for myself, apart from internships, I did not have any projects. I had zero projects.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can't really speak for it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yes, of course, projects is definitely a plus. And when you have something, when you're interviewing for a company and
Yeah.
they have an open position for uh, some role, say front end engineer, and if you have done front end projects, then it is definitely going to help. It is going to
Yeah.
be a plus. How
Mm-hmm.
much of a plus it does help to have some good projects is what is the bottom line.
Okay. And so, how did you get the off-campus offer from Google? What is that story?
Oh yeah, it is. It's a little funny. So while I was doing my Uber internship,
Oh yeah.
uh, I got a ping on HackerRank
Okay.
messaging,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
uh, saying, "Hey, we have open offer. We have open positions in Google London.
Okay.
So are you interested?" And I thought it was like it's spam
Scam.
and like any other, because I mean, It's HackerRank messaging. It's not LinkedIn or something. It's HackerRank.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that message was one of many what do you say, spammy messages that we get in HackerRank. I
Okay.
I thought it wasn't a thing. And then
Yeah.
after 15 days, I was like, okay, what if? I mean, I'm not losing anything, so I just
Yeah.
ping them back,
Okay.
and then I got an instant reply. I mean, I got an instant reply, so I was even more suspicious. So asking for my CV. Then I took around 20 days to procrastinating heavily, asking a couple of my seniors to review my CV. Seniors were really
Yeah.
helpful,
Mm.
and I sent them my CV, and then they asked me when
And this
would
all
the first
happened
round of
in
interview
third
be.
year.
That's how third year end. I mean, it's a good third year end somewhere.
Okay. And then what happened?
Oh yeah, and then I had my round one to the end of August.
Yeah. How many rounds were there?
Okay, there were 5 rounds. I mean, sixth lunch round on site in Dublin, but I
Okay.
don't know if you call that a round.
So like what exactly happens? How is every round different from the other one? What is the procedure of each round and all, if you remember?
All 5 rounds were based on DSA, data structures, algorithms, and coding.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, all of them were similar. I was asked a question and then I had to code it on Google Docs
Yeah.
neatly and accurately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and one of the most important things in the interview was to explain. So explain and ask questions about the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm. And then you cracked it.
oh yeah,
So like, how is the life at Google like?
oh yeah, life at Google. It is really it's a really positive environment here.
Okay.
Uh, so
You do get
so
free food, right?
oh yeah, we do get free food.
Yeah.
I'm realizing how good of a thing that is after working from home, where I have to make my own food, which is such a pain in the
Exactly.
ass. So
Yeah.
and at Google, so you don't hesitate to ask questions to people. I think that's one of the best part, and I think that's the case with most companies.
Yeah.
Even in Uber, that was the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't there's no I mean you don't hesitate. Like when you have a question, you just ask it instead of having that as a blocker to your project or something. That's a
Okay.
very nice thing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and the free food is a really good thing.
Yeah. Okay, so while actually writing code, do you focus on maintaining readability or trying to just code as quickly as possible?
Are you talking about competitive programming or Google?
Or like when you're actually working for Google writing code
Oh,
for their,
oh,
yeah.
you have to focus a lot on readability because
Okay.
I mean, if you're gone, then the next person who is supposed to handle the code, or if anyone is debugging something and they look at your code, they need to understand what's going on, and that can't
Yeah.
happen without readability.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, readability is one. It's a big thing in a lot of big companies.
Yeah. Because if it is not good, then everything just falls down like a
Yeah, it just
dominoes.
yeah, it just remains as a technical debt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're better off writing neater code than spending more time debugging it later when some issue
Yeah.
arises.
So what would be your advice for people that are looking to get into, the big four, as it is said? Be
Uh,
consistent or like what exactly would that be?
See, there are multiple ways. There are multiple paths. I think this is my understanding. Multiple paths you can get into a company of whatever you like.
Yeah.
Um, for Google, I can only say that one way is to like just let me think. So one way is to just take part in competitive programming. That's
Yeah.
what's happening now. That's how a lot of
Hmm.
people are getting in. So
Yeah.
take part in either for fun or for preparing the interviews, cracking the interviews. Like just do a lot of it.
Hmm.
Plus, yeah. So this is one major factor. This is one path that a lot of people take to competitive
Okay.
programming as much as you can.
Mm. And then you will get some message from Google or someplace.
Getting a Uh, More than that, if you take a referral from someone or something, that will be a faster route. This
Referrals
was,
work as well, right? Yeah.
yeah, referrals work as well.
So like you guys do get some sort of referral benefit as well, right? If you refer someone and that person gets in.
Yeah, there are referral benefits in place.
Mm-hmm.
There are, like, if you, because you're helping the company, so why not?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, one way is to, as I said, to do more and more of computer programming. But with the regarding the interview, regarding cracking the interview, above a certain level, if no, of problem solving skills, it
Yeah.
doesn't, it matters less. Like, you just need to pass the bar.
Okay.
After that bar, if you know, you just need to pass the bar, and after that, it's more about how you explain your solution. You don't
Mm.
have to be the best or something. You just have to pass the bar, right?
Yeah.
You have to be good at explaining. That's another dimension of cracking the interview. So
Mm-hmm. And so is the working is it like from 9 to 5 you have to work, or is it completely flexible for you to work in Google?
it is, yeah, it is flexible. Like, in the sense, you can come in any time and go out any time. But if you have a meeting, you're expected to attend it,
Okay.
and it's usually more productive for you and for the team that you're in
Mm-hmm. Mm.
to come in and come out when usually the team arrives and goes out. There's, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All
So,
right. So what do you like
but
to
if
do when you're free and in Google and when you don't have much work to do?
I mean, there's always work to be done. You mean when you're working, or when you're back at home and, like, you
You
have a
can
lot
tell
of free time?
both of them, both of them.
Fine, sure. So, uh, so I mean, at Google, there's an internal meme site called Meme Gen in Google. So inside,
Yeah.
so I just browse a lot of it.
Yeah.
So, and that's there's no work to be done, but that happens very rarely.
Yeah.
Or I try to solve some problem which is in my head for a while.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
Probably a CP problem. CP is competitive programming, if in
yeah.
case I mentioned that.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
yeah, and sometimes I go to the relax room and watch some Netflix.
Sure.
That's it.
All right. All right. So, if someone is like not able to properly manage competitive programming and procrastinates a lot, how would you handle procrastination for that case?
Okay. Okay, it's a good question. Yes, I've done this
You
too.
must have faced procrastination in
Oh,
your time as well, right?
yeah. So I mean, you're procrastinating probably because you don't find it interesting enough, right? So
Mm.
you need to. Uh, I mean, you probably need to consciously start taking steps to. So it depends on why you're doing it, right? So if you're doing it for fun, then it's okay to procrastinate, because you're procrastinating it in the first place because you weren't having fun at all. If
Yeah.
you're doing it for the interviews or something, then you should treat it as if you're studying for an exam. You have to do it.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it works both ways. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're having, see that if you're procrastinating, if you, because procrastinating it because you recently had a bad time with computer programming is, then, but you still want to do more of it. If that's the reason why you're procrastinating, then you should understand that usually getting good at competitive programming is hard, because if it was easy, then everyone would have been good at it.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So maybe have this in mind and stop procrastinating. So
All right, great. And what are your future plans right now after
that's
Corona stops? Hopefully, it stops.
okay. Independent of Corona, that is an excellent question, which I still don't have an answer to. When I was in my second year or third year, a lot of people had their plan sorted about going MS and then doing a job afterwards and something.
Yeah.
But I still have no clue about what I'm going to do. And I'm sure that's the case with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Uh, I kind of wanted to do something on the lines of math or parallel computing or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
parallel algorithms.
You want
I
to go into
developed this.
research a little bit.
Yeah, I want to go more into research,
Okay.
but I have no idea how feasible that is, and I need to explore that instead of procrastinating.
Yeah.
So Yeah, one thing about doing a full-time job is you're probably too comfortable to get out of it.
Hmm. Exactly. And it just takes most of your time, so you won't get much time to do anything else.
Yeah, exactly. So you need to consciously put in efforts to do something. Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah. So
Mm-hmm. All right. I have one last question for you. Was this experience at Google the thing that we all dream of, or is it something that is there some sort of myth that we have that we are thinking of right now that oh we'll go to that place in 4 years and then we'll have this magical experience over there?
I'm not completely sure about what magical experience you're talking about. I mean, it's not magical.
Like what
Like
we've
all I can
seen in the movies and in the videos.
in which movie did they show working at Google? But
I mean,
okay, wait.
like,
I can
yeah,
tell you.
yeah,
So magical is not even a. I mean, magical is not the word for it. I
okay,
can say that it's a little extra comfortable. It's very comfortable here.
okay,
So it's comfortable enough for you not to pursue anything else. As in, so
yeah.
in a sense,
Is it
so
like
the
a walled garden that you won't be able to get out of?
yeah, it's hard to get out of this. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
it's there are a lot of perks and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of perks and benefits which you feel really comfortable using. So that way you won't feel like coming out of it.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
that's what I'm going through now. So
All right. So thank you so much for joining me here for this podcast. I hope the audience will learn a lot from this meeting that we have. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me.
thank you, Ishan.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed this episode of BITScast. Let me know what's the biggest takeaway from this episode. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like this video, share it with your friends. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.